Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Akash Paul, and what you see with me are the Himalayans. This is the new one, this is the old one. Now I can talk about the specs of the new bike, and I thought I'll quickly get the old one in the frame for reference and talk about how they are different, what has changed and by how much. So let's begin this video. Now first, let's talk about the most important aspect of the new Himalayan, and that is the all-new engine. This one used to have a 411cc single-cylinder engine, but this one has a bigger 452cc and it's still a single cylinder. But the changes do not end there. This one, while it came with a single overhead camshaft, this one comes with dual cams. And it also gets liquid cooling, so that is a first for a Royal Enfield with a single cylinder to have liquid cooling. So this is a DOHC liquid cooled engine compared to SOHC on this one. Now the power and torque also have changed because of this. So this used to make about 24 horsepower, while this one makes about 39.6 horsepower, and even the torque has gone up. So from about 32 Newton meters it has gone up to 40 Newton meters. Also, the new engine revs higher. It reaches close to 9000 RPM, and the power that it makes, the peak power and peak torque, that also happens at a higher RPM. So this one makes peak power at 8000 RPM, while the peak torque comes in at 5500 RPM. However, we've been told that the new Himalayan generates 90% of its torque at just 3000 RPM. That we'll test when we review the motorcycle. This engine also runs a higher compression ratio of 11.5 to 1 as compared to 9.5 to 1 on this one. Now moving on from the engine, we have the gearbox. So this came with a 5-speed gearbox, but this one gets a 6-speed gearbox, and it also comes with a slip and assist clutch, which should mean that the clutch lever and the gear shifting action should be much more light and easy on this. New to the Himalayan 450 is ride-by-wire system, which means that now you have multiple riding modes. So if you come closer, I will show it to you that on the handlebar on the right side you have a new switch. This M button is used to change the modes, which you can see on the screen right here. This is the 4-inch TFT instrument cluster, which is also new compared to the old one. So if I press the button, you can see the different riding modes. So essentially you just have performance and eco mode, but both of them get an ABS on and ABS off setting because this has switchable rear ABS. And we've been told that the power and torque output in both the eco and performance mode is going to be the same. It's just that the throttle response changes. What has also changed on the bike is the suspension setup. So if you see on the older one, you used to get these 41 mm right side up forks, but now in the new bike you get 43 mm upside down forks, and the suspension setup has been tuned in collaboration with Showa. At the back you still get a monoshock suspension. The travel on the front is still 200 mm for both bikes, but on the new one the rear travel has gone up from 180 mm to 200 mm. Also, if you look at the ground clearance of these motorcycles, this one had a ground clearance of 220 mm, but this one has a 10 mm higher 230 mm ground clearance. Both of these motorcycles come with 21-inch front wheels and 17-inch rear ones. Both of them are spoked, but there is a difference that this one will in future be available with tubeless spoked wheels, while that was not an option on this one. So they won't be available at launch, but the company and the other organizations are trying to get that into the Indian market as soon as possible. Internationally, it will be available from the launch itself. And if you look at the tire itself, this is a 90 by 90, and so is this one. The rubber is obviously different. At the back though, there is a bigger change, because on this one at the back, if you come closer, I'll show you, it gets a radial 140 section tire, so that is a bit thicker than the one on the older bike. Also, the braking setup has received an upgrade, so you still get dual channel ABS and you can switch off the rear ABS, but now you have a bigger disc brake at the front. So this one used to have a 300 mm disc, while this has a 320. Same at the back, from a 240 you now get a 270 mm disc brake. The wheelbase has gone up, and so has the overall length. Now the weight has reduced, thankfully. So this one weighs in at 196 kilograms, while this one used to be 199 kilograms, which means this is 3 kilograms lighter. And a lot of that credit goes to the engine, which itself is 10 kilos lighter than the one that you see here. So the older Himalayan used to have a seat height of 800 mm. On the new one, that has increased to 825 mm. Now, this is the standard seat that you get with this motorcycle. It can go up by 20 mm. You can adjust the seat, but there is also a lower seat adjustment wherein you get a different seat, which in the lower state sits at 805 mm and again can be increased by 20 mm to 825 mm. So the seat height has gone up, but it also gives you more adjustability. Indians love talking about the fuel efficiency of a motorcycle, and you might be wondering what is the fuel efficiency of this one. Well, the certified figure is 28.15 kilometers to a liter, and that is in the performance mode. And this also gets a bigger fuel tank. So instead of a 15-liter fuel tank, this one gets a bigger 17-liter fuel tank, which is actually situated somewhere over in this area because they moved the airbox up and it is now here, while the fuel tank is a little bit over on this side. So doing some maths, this will probably give you about 450 kilometers on a single tank of fuel. So those were all the major technical specifications of the new Himalayan 450, and I've spoken about it in comparison to the previous Himalayan so that you have an idea of what has changed and by how much. Now, our review will be dropping on the 10th of November, so make sure that you're subscribed to our channel if you've already not done that, so that you are notified about that video. Like this video if you like this information, and stay tuned for more automotive content. Until the next time, this is Akash Paul signing off. Bye-bye.